When it comes to e-commerce websites, having a professional design for an e-commerce store is literally mission critical at this point in the digital marketing world. The reason this is the case is because ultimately, think about it this way. Back in the day, people would actually go to stores. I know kids, you'll be amazed that people actually used to leave their house, go to a store and buy things. And now we don't really do that so much. We've got Amazon and we do a lot of online shopping and all these different vendors and everything. The thing is, when you really think about it, your website now, when you're dealing with e-commerce, it is the front door. It is, how people would set up these beautiful displays up front and they've got all their favorite products in the window. And, the whole window shopping thing used to be a real legit thing. And in some places it still is. But when you really think about that, it's because that's the first impression. So if your web design on your store is kind of old looking, it's like one of those stores where the big glass windows in the front have all this old decor and it doesn't look modern and inviting and attractive. No one's going to come into your store. They're going to look at your store and, oh no, there's another one over here. There's a different, furniture store or boutique or whatever on the other street that looks nicer out front. It matters. And people oftentimes think, I'll just, as long as I've got my products there, this is going to work. And that's really not the case, particularly when you're a brand that is not just immediately recognized. If you're fortunate to have a brand that's humongous, you can get away with a little bit more here. But when you're a newer brand, you've got to have a really strong design. Otherwise, it kind of falls apart on you and you're not going to get people through the door. The second big thing is user experience drives conversion, and design and user experience are very much interlaced. So if you've got a situation where your design is pretty, but functionally it doesn't make sense, you have another set of problems. So things like not having your shopping cart where people can click and go to their cart, a difficult checkout process, product categories being not laid out properly or confusing. These are the kind of things that creep in there and ultimately make your store not easy to work with. And people think design is about pretty pictures, and it can be, but design is about function. We're in the process of building a home after our house fire. We're in the design process. And the thing I'm learning is not everything is about pretty. A lot of interior design in our house is about how we're going to use a room. So like we have a scullery that is designed in our home plans, which is basically a big pantry. And the thing is, if you don't know where your pans and pots and your spices and all your stuff is going to go, the scullery doesn't make any sense. But as soon as you go, oh, I have these pans and I have this and this and this, there's an expected flow that scullery is going to take on. It's the exact same thing with UX and UI and design. It is largely about people being able to use this intuitively without having to wonder how to get to a product or a category or their cart or their checkout or their account or request a return if needed or get customer service. Missing those kinds of things are huge misses that are going to cost you in the long run massively, because it makes it where your site doesn't feel trustworthy. And if you don't feel trustworthy and you've got inbound traffic coming in that doesn't know your brand, real good chance they're not going to convert. The third big thing is and that's amazing even in 2025, a lot of stores are not mobile friendly. They're responsive in that they don't look broken or weird on mobile, but they're not designed for mobile. And I will tell you, most e-commerce stores we work with, 60 to 80% of their traffic, you guessed it, mobile devices, iPads, phones, Droids, iPhones, doesn't matter. They're mobile devices. And if your website is not only not mobile friendly, but not optimized for that experience, it's a big miss that you're going to pay for in conversion loss. So make sure you've got a very strong mobile presence on your e-commerce store. Imagine you don't know your business and you've gone there, or get a friend to do it. Get a friend to log onto your site on their mobile phone and find how easy is it for them to buy a product. You'll find very quickly whether or not it's great and frictionless, or whether you've got a rat's nest and they don't know how to do it. So if you say, go buy my, whatever jacket or whatever that's on my website, if they can't do that very quickly, your site is probably failing when it comes to the mobile view. So make sure that your mobile looks good and that it's tested and that it's functional. The fourth big thing is SEO. You've got to make sure that your product categories are indexing. A lot of plugins will turn them off, or your product categories pages will have no content on them. And it's a big mistake, because when Google looks down at your categories, like just say, for example, that you're selling, we looked at a dentist website this week. Let's say that you're selling dental drills. I don't know why, sorry, but we'll go with it, dental drills. Okay, and you're selling these different drills. If you've got a category called, whatever they're called, dentist drills or whatever it is that people would search for, but on that page is just a bunch of drills. There's no context for Google to understand that you're talking about drills for teeth or cavity repair, and there's no way that they're going to show up in search. So in that case, if your categories can't show up, your products are named so specifically, they're probably not going to show up. You have no way of getting search traffic to your website, which means the only other thing you can do is pay for traffic, which you really, really don't want to be doing as your only marketing ploy, right? You've got to have multiple angles, and SEO is a very good long-term angle, but it doesn't work if your category pages are not appropriately flushed out. So you want to make sure that you've got that SEO built into your e-commerce site. Don't launch a site and let it sit there for a year with things not indexed, because you're just wasting your time and your energy. And finally, scalability. I can't tell you how many times we see websites with plugins that are ancient that won't update, or themes that are built with all these customizations to where every month you're spending 6 or 8 hours of development time just catching those templates up to whatever the new version is. You got to be careful when you're building e-commerce to make sure that you're building it in a way that is sustainable and scalable. A lot of businesses and a lot of development companies fail here. They build the thing, but it's not really scalable or sustainable. And if you inject a bunch of traffic into it, the performance isn't there and it crashes. So performance can be a problem for you, both in volume of traffic being pushed away, but it also can kill your conversion rate if you've got a slow and kind of janky feeling website. Even if it's beautiful, if it doesn't function well, it's going to break down, and then you end up in this situation where, again, it goes to trustworthiness. It's not trustworthy, it's slow, you have friction. All those things equal less conversion and less ability for you to get sales off this website. So make sure your website looks amazing, make sure it functions well from a UI UX standpoint, make sure it's mobile responsive, that it's search engine friendly, and that it's scalable. If you do those things, you've got a recipe for having a killer e-commerce store. I will say this, lots of people create e-commerce stores that don't work. And the reason that they largely don't work is due to traffic. Never, ever, ever build a massive e-commerce store or go into a big project to do e-commerce without actually making a plan for your traffic. You've got to know how to get people there. Just building it is going to cost you money and probably not create a return unless you've got a way to get people that are looking for things to find it. So we specialize in e-commerce SEO and e-commerce PPC. We have massive, massive output in that and lots of success stories. We also specialize in high-end development on e-commerce. So if you're struggling with your e-commerce store, you've got a build problem, you've got a marketing problem, a traffic problem, a conversion problem, we probably can hook you up and get you going in the right direction. Just book a call in. We have free, consultation immediately. Get in here, solve the problem. With an e-commerce store that can make $2, $3, $5, $10, $30, $50,000 a day, don't waste it, guys. If you've got the products and you've got everything ready to go, don't let the website and the digital marketing be the thing that stops you. When we can come in, take care of that, and you can have a successful e-commerce business. Thanks so much. Get in touch with us. Let us know how we can help you.